All right. So being that we're gonna get to the main subject at hand, what got Cameron in this mess with the public eye and with Jasmine. We're gonna talk about Jada's boy Diddy, right?
My boy.
So recently, footage leaked from CNN of
CNN been CNN.
Exactly.
CNN been TMZ.
Yeah, they definitely put TMZ off the map. I was so shocked when they broke it.
Color niggas know. That's what it is.
now colors niggas know about that horsepower.
Yeah.
Calling niggas names.
Right. So they published the video of Diddy in the Intercontinental Hotel in California attacking, can I say allegedly?
No, why would
No, it wasn't alleged. We saw
Do I
it.
say
He done already came out and apologized for it, so it's attacking
He was
Cassie.
whooping Cassie's ass.
Assaulting. You want to be nice? Assaulting?
He was assaulting Cassie in a hotel hallway with
Leading
a
up
robe
to the
on.
elevator.
With a towel.
With one
Do you
hand.
want me to tell it? Because what's going on with you? Get your shit together
Because
tonight.
tell it then.
Well, I'm glad you asked, Sha. What happened was this week, on Friday to be exact. Ooh, it was a Black Friday.
And that's that fucking Friday.
It was a fucking
they
Friday.
Fucked him up on Friday.
It was a Black Friday. CNN knew what they were. CNN, I see you.
It was a fuck around and find out
Friday. And that's what we did. The whole world found out that what all of us who already knew to be founded and true. It was found out Friday when we saw that Diddy assaulted his ex and longtime girlfriend Cassie Ventura at the Intercontinental Hotel in California. She was trying to escape. If you've read the documents, and see, this is where I'm so glad. I can't wait till we get to the meat and potatoes of this, but it was in the documentation that she filed in the federal lawsuit where she had alleged to this incident where she was trying to flee from the room. He had black in her eye. She was going to leave, and this is what we now see. He runs out holding his towel, and he begins to viciously assault her. She doesn't fight back. He's kicking her. He drags her. And it was a very heinous video. I don't think any of us, although let me not say we. I knew. Shout out to Conversations on Film, because we had this conversation back in November. And I asked the question, where were the character witnesses from Diddy? Go check out that viral clip, right? And we asked that. And the reason why we see a lot of people could not come to his defense, because as I stated, this was one of the most open, under the rug secrets that a lot of people in the industry, hence why Abby asked this question of Cameron about the industry, because many people have heard for decades now. This is not some rumors from this video, as we know, was in 2016, but we've been hearing rumors of Diddy's transgressions from the 90s about how he beats ass and takes names, right? So to see it in real time, I gotta be real. While I was definitely sickened, angered, triggered by what I saw, I was also, in some ways, very sad, because one of the things in the black community we love to scream out is they want to take down the black man. They want to tear down the legacy of the black man. And I always have this saying, it's real easy when I can point the finger at somebody else for doing something to me or taking me out, but it is so much sadder when I got to point that same finger at me and realize that I am the root of everything that's going wrong in my life. I'm the only reason I have to blame. And it just saddened me that his legacy will, I remember we talked about that, Sha, when we had that segment. Like, do you think he'll be able to come back? And at that time, the rumors weren't actually founded. So we thought that there was some perhaps chance, because America loves a comeback. But after this, I don't really see, God can do anything, I'll say that. But I don't see a clear path to him ever regaining the type of stardom and the type of star power that he once had. And it's a sad, sad fate.
I think Diddy's disgusting. I always thought that, though. Way before the allegations or anything came out or she came out and said anything, I always said from watching Making the Band that there was something wrong with him. To make those kids walk to Brooklyn, buy a cheesecake, and then
not
don't
even
eat it.
Yeah.
Was a different level of narcissistic manipulation. The fact that all of these people under him that he has signed are not living, but you're out here living. And I mean living. And there are people struggling that you signed to. There were people that were platinum artists that are nowhere. And we're not going to say it was because of them.
Or
we watched him shut down studios. We watched him play mind games with these people. We watched this. When I saw the documentary of Biggie Small's mother, and she came forward and said, my son and Biggie were not friends like that. My son didn't trust him, and neither did I. Yep. When she spoke about that, it validated a lot of things for me.
His daughter did too.
Absolutely, and they talked about how, and it's funny, I mean, of course he wouldn't have been at Big's party last night for his birthday, but they even spoke about how so many events that they have for Biggie, he never shows up. He doesn't give a dime towards it, doesn't help, nothing. And you know, I always thought there was something funny with him, but to watch that video, I was beyond disgusted because without even seeing her face, there was such a level of fear that she had. It was a level of fear, but you also knew that wasn't the first time he had done that to her. The way she balled up to preserve herself.
It was like a routine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, oh,
and
shoot,
he was very comfortable doing
just don't
what
hit
he
me
did.
in my face or something. You know what I mean? That type
so,
of.
Right.
No,
but she immediately knew to ball herself up on the floor.
And she immediately
wasn't fighting back. So you knew that this was something that had happened.
Right.
And the more that these stories, and shout out to Aubrey O'Day, who I absolutely love, because she's kept her foot on his neck for years. And she was like, I've been telling y'all this. And everybody thought I was crazy. Y'all blackballed me. Nobody wanted to listen to me. The fact that there are so many people coming out now talking about what he's done, how he's done it, how heinous he's been for years is crazy to me. And it's crazy that money, the love of money, and what we do, and this is why I brought back to what I was just saying, Shah, when we have to stop just putting money on things. People covered his shit up for years for money. When I found out that they covered up that video in the hotel for only $50,000, that's it? That's it. So this girl's life, her livelihood, she could have really been bruised, beaten, battered, hurt. When I read the document about what he did with her with those breast implants was absolutely disgusting. I've always said he was a monster. So I'm not shocked here. I'm disgusted, but I'm not shocked. But I'm also disgusted that black men are not in the uproar. I feel a way.
I think that they are now. And I'm so glad you brought that up. Because let me tell you, our group chat got spicy. You know, I went back and I actually watched, and I never really watch our shows back. That's just the habit of mine.
Glad you're telling everyone that now.
I don't rewatch, you know, like how some artists say they don't like to watch. I don't rewatch our shows, but I want you to go subscribe to Conversations on Film. Plug. You see that, right?
Yeah.
But I actually rewatched that show on Sunday, and when Rick and I were talking, and I absolutely turned to the camera like I'm doing now, and I employed, and I said then, this is a matter that black men have to take up this mantle, that they have to check other black men. And I am glad that I'm seeing it now. Like, I saw Ryan Clark's clip from The Pivot where he literally eviscerates Diddy. You know, he doesn't even curse. I counted it. He cursed 10 times. He called him all types of bitch-ass niggas. He want the fade with this. Like, he went in, but he went in such a detailed, eloquent, like, I felt him. I felt his disdain. I felt his rage. But I would have liked to have had that same thing when you knew, when we heard, when there were allegations. And I remember you shot like, well, we don't know it's allegations. Man, let me tell you something. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah, but you don't just jump. You don't just go put out a fire that you don't know that it exists.
Why?
Now that we, like I wrote in the group, hold on, like we know in the group, when I said, I can't speak publicly about something until I actually see it, right? I see it now. It's something
that's a man thing.
That's definitely a man thing.
That's just what it is because we're not jumping into conclusions.
Yeah, well,
right. But now we see it.
I think what also bothered me was when this whole Cassie thing first started and he settled with her within 24 hours. He came out and was like, somebody's just looking for a payday.
Yes, he did.
You knew what you
did.
But
but it wasn't for her. It was other people coming after him after
fine.
that.
No, but
no.
But he never said. This was before.
No, this was after the settlement.
This was after
a couple people came out.
No, this was after. I'm telling you, Diddy watched Conversations on Film because this was literally after the clip was going, and he literally, it was almost like verbatim what I said on the show. He needed to come out and say.
I don't care whether he was addressing other people or not.
But
you
lied.
knew you were guilty.
You lied.
You knew there was footage of what you have done.
Absolutely.
You keep your mouth shut. And then the fact that you stood up in these Lifetime Achievement Awards and the this and the that, and you know what monster you really are behind closed doors is flipping crazy to me.
All right, I don't want to play devil's advocate.
But you will.
I'm trying not to right now. But he also didn't, like, I don't think he lied because he said he was in a dark place when he gave her that. Remember when he got the speech and he was like, shout out to Cassie because she was there when I was in a dark place. And this is right before this lawsuit came out.
Well, I'm going to throw
So that means he was kind of like, in front of it, knowing.
No, that was called manipulation and gaslighting.
Okay, there we go.
And that's the part that pissed me off.
Took the words right out my mouth.
That's the part that actually made me more hot because let me tell you something. See, I'm tired of people talking about using the word of healing and, rehab. The first thing that they tell you in any form of rehabilitation is what? You must first acknowledge what you did. You have to get out of denial.
But who does he have to acknowledge it to, though?
Why you always go that?
I want to know. I want to know.
Well, who was he giving the apology to?
Right.
He didn't say it to Cassie. To the very public that you want to change the perception
hold on. Wait. So Sunday on God's Day.
On the Lord's Day.
On the Lord's Day on Beyonce's internet. That's what they say, right?
Yes, it is.
He came and he had an apology. Right? A blanket apology.
A bullshit apology.
Exactly. Call it what it is.
Let's call that what it was. A bullshit apology he should have kept.
A bullshit apology, right? About the situation, explaining how he was in a dark time and everyone has seen it by now.
So why he didn't come out and say that when the settlement came? Why'd you wait until the footage came out? Because that's what we do as people too. You're not sorry. You're sorry you're sorry that video got leaked. Let's be very clear.
Correct.
And then you let your son make that whack ass.
Yeah, so I keep my father's name out your mouth. Boy,
when meanwhile you knew you had footage of you doing X, Y, and Z. And that's the problem that we're talking about. See, I could say that I'm going through a dark time and that I've changed. Real change isn't spoken. You see it in your actions. You see, and what he should have done, and what really pissed off me and lots of people is you allowed this woman that you know that you did it to her. Before remember, they settled, the lawsuit came out. His lawyer was talking and saying that she had been trying to extort him for months, that it was a money grab.
Right, so that the husband didn't have no more money.
You allowed the public to create and run with the perception that this woman simply wanted money because she was bitter and the relationship was over, when the whole time you knew what you had done to her. So if you really, truly had changed, you would never have allowed the people to be able to make her look or seem like she is doing anything nefarious or lying because you knew what you did to her.
Right.
So therefore, that bullshit apology
was just that.
You weren't sorry that you did what you did. You're sorry that people are now seeing that you are exactly what she said you are, which means that the other lawsuits that are being piled on, you might have done what they said you did too. Right. That's what you're sorry for.
When Misa came out with her statement,
Misa entered the chat.
My God, and but I was waiting.
I was
waiting because she's been hinting about opening her mouth for quite some time. When Kim died a couple years after, she started hinting about, I've been quiet for far too long. I've had my final straw.
I'm tired of
this. Is it.
Something you did with my son. My son is being a part of this bullshit.
Absolutely.
I will protect my
Kamora
son.
Lee, same thing. She's like, oh, let me know when y'all ready to open this can of worms, because she know a lot too. There's a lot of Kim's friends who she confided in that knew about the bullshit that she was going through dealing with this man for years. I'm also disturbed that his actions have now overshadowed his baby girls going to prom.
Yeah, I hate
to where
that.
not saying we didn't
so
celebrate
beautiful.
them.
They look so
but
beautiful.
We're so busy talking about what he's done that it's kind of like, damn, yeah, they went to prom the other night. You know what I'm saying?
And I hate it. And I will say this too on record. I hate that as adults, we like to, in one moment, say keep a child in a child's place, but in the very next breath, people are underneath the comments of them on these social media blogs and talking about, oh, don't put them up there because of what their father did. Listen, we got to pick or choose.
Yep.
These children, okay, regardless of however age they are, because one thing y'all know I always say, I hate that Black children are not afforded the same comforts of being called children the way that other peers are. You know, Billy and their kids are kids till they're 45 living at home.
Absolutely.
But our kids, our Black boys are men at 13.
Right.
You understand? So these are children.
Jesus was a man at 13.
You know what? Shut up, Jamal. But, you know, these are children, and they do not, should not, and cannot be bearing the sins of their father. And it's unfortunate, like you said, that they do have to get caught up in that. And I feel sad for his son, even though I definitely, I ain't gonna hold you, I do be bopping to some of King Combs. I like that shit with Kodak Black. But, you know, I don't knock him for coming out in defense of his father, because children love their parents. You know, you could be burning base in my house and hell, I'm still love my mama. But there comes a time when you start to become a man and you got to start questioning. You got to have that hard conversation.
Not just that.
Quincy, what's up with you?
I think it's time you just have to know when to shut the fuck up.
Well, no, but I also blame, again, when you are dealing and being raised by a narcissist who is publicly proclaiming, knowing you got a video buried in your goddamn safe.
But that's what
right?
I'm saying.
No, what I'm saying is, why didn't you tell him? Why you had to listen? He is he's underneath Bad Boy. Why'd you okay that song? You know that was a taunting song.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you gotta, again, where is the representation to be like, sit this one out, baby boy. Like you gotta let your father fight that battle. Like, and I get it that he's a human being and he's an individual. And yes, he loves his father. I understand that, right? However, again, you gotta know when to just. I gotta sit this one out, and I'm gonna support my father from afar.
But Jazz, what about if I wholeheartly believe my father? I wholeheartedly believe that my father is right because this is what he's telling me, and this is what he's showing me, and people are riding with us.
What I will say is he's been doing this for so long that I'm sure he treats those kids a certain way as well. Because
you think?
I do, because I believe if who you are is who you are is who you are. We just talked about that with Cam, right? So if you sitting there and you're irate and you going off, I'm sure he's going off on those kids. Yeah. I'm sure they've seen that side of him to where
or going off on people in front of those kids.
of them, right?
Well, remember the other producer, the guy who also has a lawsuit against Puffy. Remember, he said that there was an issue that happened and he shot somebody in the bathroom that was like his son's friend, and the son was there and they covered it up. So these sons have been privy to this. And so children don't do what you say. Children do what you see. So when you see your father who is able to go off and blow up people's cars and be big red and hold people over balconies, you start to also take on
that person.
And you can take on those traits too. So it's like now, you almost don't know better because you haven't been shown better.
Right. But it's interesting. Have they not been shown better? Because it's almost like they were raised by Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde almost, because Kim was sweet and sincere and calm. And I'm sure they watched their mother go through some shit. For God's sakes, the twins and that last little girl are damn near born in the same year.
Yeah, no, they are.
You watched...
Because they all graduated.
You watched your father do some shit to your mama. You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, do you really not know any better? Or you just fixated because that's the money side. That's where the party is at. That's where the entertainment is at. That's where the fun is at.
That's where the power is at.
Right.
Because, there becomes, and I've said this a lot of time, Puff is in that upper echelon of the 1% where laws and rules that we think of they do not apply to them, and you're an elitist, and he had a very much godlike complex.
Well, the rituals was serious that were going on at these parties. When Cassie, they just said it came out in a court document that he had people consuming her blood.
Oh my Lord!
At the parties,
that's very
like these sex rituals and
freak-offs.
And menstrual blood is very powerful. Very powerful.
Really, is it?
It is.
That's why they say them people put it in the spaghetti.
Spaghetti, yes. Yeah. It is a real thing.
Spaghetti is my favorite food.
Is
crazy.
It now?
Yeah.
Be careful when your wife make it.
Right. She's fine. It's fine. she already got me, so.
might have been how you got though.
Here you go.
But rituals are a real thing in Holly weird. Especially blood rituals, though they tie you in. They're very, very, rituals. Very, very powerful. I'm glad to see that it's coming mainstream. And I don't think it's the takedown of a black man. He put himself in this situation. But what I will say is, again, we got to stop thinking money makes us untouchable. We saw what they did to Bill Cosby. We saw what they've done to O.J. Simpson. God rest the dead. We've seen what they've done to so many people to where now, look at all these things that are coming out. And I think it's very interesting that people like Stevie J haven't said a goddamn word.
See, now that's the nigga.
Where's Stevie J?
Hold on. That's the nigga that need to get his ass whooped.
Absolutely.
Because he's the closest one. He's the one fighting for Diddy. He's the one trying to fight 50 Cent for Diddy, all that shit. Knowing this nigga was full of shit.
Yes.
You to say, hold on.
You was living in his house,
hold on,
bro.
You to say, it gets even messier with these niggas. You the same nigga that married Biggie's baby mother, and you were Diddy's best.
Right. Make it make
this
sense.
This is too much.
I mean, but when you look at that though, then why would it be so ironic to believe that he could lie for him and cover it up?
No.
Because this is who you are.
No,
right.
I'm not saying he wouldn't do that, but he needs to get his ass whipped for that.
That's a lot of people, and it goes back to like when we was talking about R. Kelly, right? And how people would always be like, well, it's not just R. Kelly, it's the handlers. Look at all the people who have been able to enable this going on. I hope Cassie goes after the Intercontinental Hotel, and yes, it is closed down, but she needs to be suing them because you had a responsibility to her to ensure and make sure that she was okay,
safe in your property.
You failed her. The part that really sticks to me beyond the beating is. It makes me wonder, and it makes me so sad for Cassie, because if he was able to do that in a hotel hallway with no regard, holding a towel, what was he doing to her behind closed doors?
Well,
what was he doing to her on jets?
Have you ever seen,
there's
a video and she has like this big sweater looking thing on and she wouldn't come out of it. And he says something to her. He's
taunting her.
Right. And about why she won't show her face. But that's probably because you fucked her up. Like, her makeup artist has now come out and made a whole statement about she used to show up with bumps, lumps, and bruises on her. Like, and it's really crazy. But I'm not mad either, because I also know that a lot of times when you deal with celebrities, you sign NDAs.
Absolutely.
And usually they're not forever. They're for a certain amount of time, and then you can speak about what you've gone through or what you've witnessed.
But if it's criminal activity, it's certain shit
then it negates the NDA.
Yes, absolutely. But I do see how like the makeup artist may not have said anything because she may have just been starting out.
And on top of that, the fear factor.
Right.
We're not taking
he was blowing up people's cars.
We're not taking it. I don't know
doing
if y'all,
all type of wild shit.
He's been doing, and he has the money, the resources, and the means to be able to get stuff done.
Yes. Allegedly, of the past few years, it was something about him or his son shooting someone in the studio.
Yes,
yes, that's what I was just talking about. Yeah, and covering it up.
Yeah,
and it just makes you wonder, like, what else is true about what's been alleged about you.
Right.
My question is, where we didn't get to, Where's Young Miami?
Oh, speaking of Young Miami.
From my understanding, she's under investigation for trafficking.
Not the pink powder.
And grooming the girls for him to sex traffic. Yes, ma'am.
She's one of the people that is saying that, but it's under investigation.
She's under investigation.
But as of recently, of an hour ago, Young Miami appears to unfollow Diddy after videos of Cassie and assault and apology. So she's here goes the public display of, hey, I ain't really fucking with this nigga right now.
Girl.
I'm not gonna say whether she knew or didn't know. I will say she's not of a certain level of intellect either.
Nah, we ain't gonna go with that.
And I'm gonna say one thing I will tell you about a narcissist: they know who they can prey upon.
True.
And he saw her coming a mile away. He knew he could dangle that podcast in front of her, some money, a lot of money. Status, because she really blew up once they really started dating. Not saying City Girls wasn't great, but now you're on all of these shows and you're making mills and you're really solidified.
At the Met Ball, the Met Gala. City Girls was not at no Met Gala.
Right.
This is true.
So I feel like she knew she was being vetted as well. And I don't think she had a problem with it because of the lifestyle she's come from, because of the struggles she's come from. And it was like, I'm going to get it how I need to get it by any means.
But she was getting, that's my only thing with her. This wasn't a Cassie who was a nobody who needed his star power to even get her foot in the door. He picked her because of who she was as the city girl. So it's like.
So, but the reason I say that.
I teeter-totter. I'm not blaming her.
No. But the reason I say that is, think about it this way. She could have been like, all of these rumors is coming out about Cassie and da-da-da. And Diddy could have just been like, you really gonna believe that shit? Why would she have stayed with me for so long if I was abusing her? Why was I doing this? Why was I doing it? You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's how they play upon it.
Yeah, true.
And she seems like the type to be like, because you got to remember, she was in the 3rd grade at like 16. You got to remember she was she would be like, oh, you know what? You right. Like, why would she stay? You know what I'm saying?
Or beyond that, too. All right. Because I feel like a lot of her, a lot of that is almost like dumb blonde syndrome. I think she's quite savvy and quite smart. I don't buy that she's that dumb. But the other factor is, in Black communities, we're taught to ride with our man. We're also taught that we don't leave the Black man by himself because everybody's coming for them.
And you don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Yeah, so a lot of that plays into it. I will give her grace. Ayala made a very good statement. And while I didn't agree with the whole statement that she made assessing this, she said the reason why Diddy lied to the public is because we don't give people grace to tell the truth. When you tell the truth, you're beaten down for your truth. When you tell the lie, now you're... So we don't allow people... So I have to kind of take that into consideration when you said, oh, now she unfollowed him. I was like, oh, she unfollowed him now? She does have the right to now say, you know what, like you just said, like, okay, now without a doubt, I see what he is, who he is, and I don't want to align myself with that. But I also think it's more... I also, without a doubt, think it is more in lieu of her career versus her personal affiliation for who he is.
Right. And so now you kind of get what I'm saying overall about speaking and doing it viral.
I still know.
So
you know why? You know why?
Like if I heard things about you and we cool, it was like, oh, Jada be doing X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, shit. I heard it, but I ain't gonna say nothing because I don't know if she motherfucking.
How many times you heard it about? Right. How long you been hearing it about?
I could be hearing it about a lot of times.
No. How long?
Maybe years.
How many people?
Right.
10 people.
Listen, my
when
thing
it's smoke, it's fire. I might be a whore. You might want to go with what they say.
But I'm not going to be like
10 people can't all have the same story and everybody's lying. Like that's just not what it is. Like 10 people can't all have the same story and everybody's lying.
Right.
There's some truth at the base of this, right? And I feel like there's been enough people that have come out and said something about who he is as a person. We just did not want to believe it, or we thought that person was crazy. Like now, how everybody thought Jaguar Wright was crazy all of these years. People really have to give sis a whole apology, bro. Like, and when I tell you, she has really, because they started calling her conspiracy theorist, she really gets your mind going. Like, she just did an interview, and this one was recent, about Faith. And
she said,
her and Faith Evans are cousins. Yes, her and
Faith. As I get home, I'm gonna watch
Faith Evans are cousins, and the interviewer, you so stupid. And the interviewer said, you know, do you think Faith ever reached her potential as an artist, and she said absolutely not. And she said,
I agree.
She said Faith was nothing but Diddy's pawn. So he asked her to elaborate, and in short, she basically said Kim and Biggie were going to take over. They were the king and the queen of Bad Boy. They were going to take over and start their own shit. And Puff got nervous, threw Faith in the game. So that caused salt between Kim and Biggie. And that Faith always wanted to be with Tupac. And then she even
talks. Said that?
You got to watch it. It's good.
Girl, I will.
She even talks about if Biggie and Diddy was such good friends, how is it that Faith married her son's godfather? Talking about Stevie J. But you have Stevie J living in your house and y'all are buddy-buddy. But he married your man's ex. Like
Kim would never.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Right, because she riding. She then jumped in the grave that
Kim's
day.
still riding and he dead for 20 plus years.
But it's just like
shout out to Brooklyn.
Yeah. I hope he gets what's coming to him. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean,
I really do. And
what could come to him at this point? Because it's past the statute of limitations to take him down for that.
All of the brands have now taken have 18 brands as of today, this moment, have now disassociated themselves with
Peloton, everybody.
He also, and what I find is crazy that we have to remember as parents is what we do is a reflection sometimes on our children to where now people may not want to work with your children because of what they've heard you have done. That you can be a threat. You can be a problem, right? You can be problematic. We've seen that happen tons of times. And let's be for real, all of his kids were riding on his namesake. All of them.
Yep.
Right? So it's kind of like, and I'm actually glad Quincy has distanced himself.
Has he though?
That's the oldest one.
That nigga
right?
ain't been around for a long time.
Yeah, he distanced himself, and that's also because his father, I'll be sure, came out and was like, I told you stay away from him.
He said come back home.
Come back home.
But no, he actually kind of dissed his father when he said that because he, it's a rock and a hard place for him too because this is the only father figure he's ever really known. And he does not disassociate. He does not differentiate between those children. That is his son. He loves Quincy, But I agree with you.
But I'm glad he's taking a step back because he's the older one. So he probably is assessing that, damn, maybe the pieces of the puzzle are coming together. Maybe he is this person that they are portraying. Maybe I need to steer clear a little bit. Or maybe this is the time for me to pick up and call my biological father because maybe he got some stories that I want to know about that I may even keep to myself, may never speak of them. Bless you, baby. But, it's just one of those situations. So, again, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I'm also disgusted that he's done all of this for so long. You have daughters.
Yeah.
You have daughters. Like, what if somebody was to do that to them? Because I know you come for mine. I'm rotting for mine. You feel me? Like, I remember dating a guy. He used to beat his baby mother's ass. Now, this was prior to us, of course, dealing with each other. But I never forget. You saw she had a stiletto on. You saw the shoe mark in the side of his car. He had an Infinity. They wound up getting married.
Oh.
Anyway, right. They wound up getting married. He never even raised his voice to me. Because we wasn't doing that. You know what I'm saying? Number one, my father's around. He's legally able to carry. Number two, I will get you violated. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
you said before,
people do different things.
And they know who to pick.
Yes.
But to go back to what Sha said, and beyond this, please make no bones and mistakes about it. Kodak Black's lawyer spoke about it. He said, y'all are suckers if y'all don't believe that something bigger is coming up. It's not a coincidence that all of a sudden Homeland Security and the FBI raid your house and then all of a sudden this miraculous video comes out. Now, they say that Cassie also had a copy, but I believe that if Cassie had a copy, why did we just now get it?
Because she didn't want a chance losing that money.
No, she already had the money. It was done deal.
Yeah, but she didn't
want
to
But why put
mess
it out
with that.
now? This is put it out in Christmas.
Because his son did it. His son.
The thing.
Yeah.
No, I believe.
Whose son did it?
Remember he made the song.
The disc.
Last week.
Oh.
I believe.
I believe.
Oh yeah,
that,
they said 50 Cent put the video out.
I believe that when they raided that house, there was tons and tons of evidence.
Yes.
There are rumors that all of his homes, all of the rooms are bugged and recorded. So can you imagine just all of that footage that they found on hard drives? They took computers, they took laptops,
and then how,
they took surveillance videos.
Yeah. How ignorant was the son to come out and say, "Oh, y'all didn't go to the other house though"?
They said, "Oh, for real."
What?
They said, well
and
Nigga,
again, this is why you should have kept your mouth shut. Like you stepping on some shit you really don't even understand.
But again, this is what happens when you are elitist and you have a God complex and you feel like you can't be touched.
Absolutely.
He felt like that because the father, so the son. He felt like that because his father for so long has been untouchable.
Yes.
And so you create this false sense of, I can do what I want to do, say what I want to say, and no one, what they was on their charade shit. Who gonna check me, boo?
Right.
And Homeland Security said, us.
Right. Because again, I don't care how much money you have. As a black person in this country, you are not above the law, the judicial system. You ain't above nothing, really. They let you get the money you have. Let's be very clear on that. And the minute you do some shit that they don't like, because a lot of people are now alleging that this is happening because Diddy came out and there was an issue with
he's about
the
to buy
liquor
NBC?
No, it was an issue with a liquor.
You know, they love to say we finna buy some shit.
He was about to buy CNN.
It was it was an issue with like a liquor company, and he said something
with Ciroc and
whatever.
Deleon.
Right, and he was suing and all this other stuff. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. What I do know is you got to be very careful playing with the devil. Because the minute you stop playing with the devil gonna show you who the fuck he is. And let's be clear, Hollyweird, a lot of them go through the devil to get where they're at. A lot of them sell their souls. A lot of them are into, like I said, a lot of this ritual stuff. We have to pay attention to what we see on TV, because a lot of it, art imitates real life a lot of times.
It does.
Right? So these wild parties that he was having and all of this craziness,
the debauchery, and just
what bothers me is everybody's tiptoeing. Like, I wish we had more Camerons to speak on this situation as black men and women. A lot of people are tiptoeing around holding him accountable.
Like even TD Jakes.
I was getting ready to say.
Oh, okay.
I was
great.
Getting ready to
I'm
say.
mad, and I love the good bishop, but
me too.
He pissed me
but
clean off.
What did he do?
Well, on Sunday he calls himself having a sermon where he prayed for women going through domestic violence. And I didn't like that. That was a form of gaslighting and manipulation, because he's been one of the people who's been a notable spiritual advisor to Puffy, which I don't have a problem with that. But don't all of a sudden, because now this has come out, now you want to pray for women who are, as he said, who are not even safe in their own homes. Well, why don't you pray for the spirits of men who are creating this false sense of unsafeness that are causing women to be beat? And you know, when I hate to keep saying what I said, but I said what I said, black women are the most unprotected, disrespected, violated species on the planet. Absolutely. And it is time, brothers, it is time. I keep telling y'all, yes, we know what we do. We talk too much. We'll go through the litany of list of things that black women need to do to fix us, to fix the community. But we need y'all to start upholding, and don't do it when the building is on fire. Do it when there's smoke in the window and you see it. Put the fire out
if
then.
You see it. You see. That's the thing. See.
She's talking about the smoke.
See.
If you see something, say something. If you hear something, if you hear something more than once, you got to start.
If you know your man is a woman beater, let's call it spade a spade. A lot of y'all know your man's is a Diddy, a diddler. Okay, a lot of y'all know. A lot of y'all done seen your man's get funky with his chick. A lot of y'all done seen him put his hands on his baby moms. A lot of y'all done seen him be disrespectful in person, and you stand by in front of the liquor store. You don't say shit. You don't do shit, but you laugh it off. And you act like it's nothing. And then what you know what you say? If it was my sister, shit, that wouldn't be happening. But a lot of times it is your sister.
No, what's my favorite? Yo, that be them. My mind, my business. Right. That ain't my place. Well, then what is your place?
But that's crazy. I've never...
What is your place?
In my mind, if I can remember, I don't remember having a friend that was abusive.
Not everybody does. Not everybody does.
But let me ask you a question. Do you know a family member, acquaintance who has been abusive to somebody?
I think I can, now that you said that, a family member, I think so. Well, you know what? No, I'm not going to say I think so, because I don't know what he was doing, but his profession would allow the mind to think that was what he did.
So. And it's crazy because, and I get it. I get the other side of it, because there's going to be some black men in the comments who's going to rebuttal and say, we don't step in because we could lose our lives, and she just going to run back anyway. Yes. yes, that can happen.
But don't say no but.
No, but that's
real.
not exactly that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about you jumping in the midst of a stranger.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about this is somebody you know, like we said, friend, family, cousin, coworker, and you know he's flying off the coop on shorty or wilding on her, or vice versa. Women flying off the handles on men. Say something. Right, and hold that person accountable. Like, y'all love hanging out with abusers. Like, you'll go drink with this nigga, break bread with him. Bro, you can't even come around us, my nigga. Like, until you get your shit together, we don't even want you around us.
Because when you ostracize and isolate somebody, it lets you know that the behavior is not accepted where you are.
Right.
That's the problem with most people who do egregious things. They're still accepted, so you really don't have a clear concept that it's wrong because people still allow me to be around you. You know, so when you're having these conversations, Diddy's not going to feel as accepted in certain circles because men are saying like, yo, you out of pocket, you dead ass wrong. Like, why the F would you do that? And a lot of them are also mad about because they have defended him and now they looking crazy.
Yep.
You had not Young Thug, you had Slim Thug, who gave another backhanded apology. He was like, oh, I was on the wrong side of right this time, and, you know, I don't be wanting to go and jump off of blogs and stuff, but I'm going to hold this L because I can't ride with you on this one. No, you need to be on some Ryan Clark shit. Nigga, you wrong. You're disgusting.
Yes.
I will never respect you in that manner again. And we need to, now my question becomes to us, right, all three of us, can he be redeemed?
Not anytime soon.
Yes, he can be redeemed,
Not anytime soon.
but not in the public eye because it's over for that.
So I'm glad you brought that up. So Peter Thomas made a comment and said,
Patricia,
said
for the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'm tired
what
of
he
Peter.
would like to see is Diddy go to therapy, work on himself, start a foundation or a safe house for women to get away from their abusers, right? So I'm like, that's in it. I don't know how I feel about that.
I definitely don't. So we're going to have an abuser make a house for safe women. No, what you need to be doing is, see, this is, again, men not holding men accountable.
Right.
Because
and it was a backhanded
comment what you should have said was he needs to set up a program for men who have anger issues and who commit domestic violence where they get the help to help reform themselves. I don't think, you know, up until I think they said 1970s, it wasn't until the 1920s where there was an actual law that was against where you couldn't beat your wife. And it wasn't until the 1970s that domestic violence even became where it was against the law. Mm-hmm. So this culture of hitting women is so far ingrained in American culture that it's going to take so much for us to be able to change the narrative of it.
I would also love to know what Diddy's mother thinks.
Me too.
I would love to know what is her perspective on her son.
I feel so bad.
You know
for
what?
Miss Janice.
A lot of black older women were okay with this.
Yes, they were.
Like I grew up in a house.
It was normalized
in a family full of hustlers. My grandmother, God rest her soul, she knew my aunt's boyfriends was gangsters and drug dealers and shit like that. She knew I used to do what I used to do and love me just the same and give me the same insight or whatever the case may be, but she never kicked nobody out.
And it goes back to what this goes back to tying into with Carisha too, right? Which is why I said that I feel like at some point she needs to publicly say something. There is this ingrained doctrine that is maybe unconsciously but consciously taught about how black women, how we love and accept certain behaviors from men. Yes. Just as like what we talked about before, well, you know, it's okay, baby, that he cheated on you. You know, men are just men. When you're told that, right, that takes away from the factor of you being hurt, of your trust being broken, of perhaps your physical, your body opening up to diseases, like just because men are men. And when we say that to women, we are teaching them how to accept disrespect in the and we are co-signing it. So you're right, Sha, where we do have lots of women who hold on to that fact that it's okay for a man to go upside your head every now and again, because that's how he show he love you. He don't really love you if he don't yoke you up. If he don't,
I think it's that, and
I hate that.
I think it's interesting also that, again, a lot of black women, when it comes to their sons, their black sons, we don't hold them accountable.
I got
right?
two.
Like if we just saw Future and his mother on a yacht and she all talking about my king. What? You're a king.
Well, why that can't be
I
her
mean,
king?
that's her king. I mean, whatever he does.
She raised a piece of shit.
He not beating up nobody, though.
Right.
It's
He
not
not
about
beating nobody.
Is he taking care of his kids?
Yes. He has child support on child support.
Child support, it takes more to raise a kid than just child support.
Listen, but nobody's saying he ain't raising his kid.
Child,
just because he got a lot of kids,
no. The baby mothers did say,
but you know how that goes.
Yeah,
but
he's not.
But I get what she's saying. But on the flip side of that, I can understand why that would still be her king. That is her son,
right? He probably take great care of her.
And in all aspects, he is successful. He is a successful chart-topping rapper.
He keeps her money flowing. Yeah. Absolutely. But I'm not posting up with my son and he's a deadbeat. No.
But he might not be a deadbeat though.
Maybe she sees something different.
Right. Maybe she gets to see her grandchildren.
Don't they normally? How many fucking black mothers are really holding their deadbeat ass sons accountable for anything? It's her fault, her problem.
I don't wanna talk about my kids because they're here, but I'm gonna talk about my kids because they're here.
Yeah.
Now, they both know. I literally just had this conversation because I'm not going to go into everything, but they both, that's why they're here. They both did some stuff in school today that I am totally against. And I said to my oldest son, you know, because he's an Aquarius like me and Sha, so we are always looking for the loophole, okay? Correct. We should just be called loopholes. We're going to get off on a technicality, not because we were morally right, but because we know the law and we know how to work it. So he's trying to explain to me why he shouldn't be in trouble at the school because technically they are wrong, which he's right. But what I explain to him is why you're wrong is because if I don't teach you accountability, the real world will. And there are going to be certain situations where I will not be able to come to your rescue and I am doing you a harm rather than a help by keeping allowing you to not accept accountability.
Thank you for that, because I know plenty of black mothers who will do nothing but overlook, sweep under the rug their sons' ill manners, their son's bad behavior, bad decisions. It's everybody else's fault, or it's just he is how he is because we're back to that men are just going to be men kind of situation.
And everything is
so
cool.
I applaud you for that.
No, and you know, like I have aunts. I have lots of male cousins. And the saddest thing, because I have an aunt who has all boys. The saddest thing is when your mother is sitting behind a bench and they're reading off how many years you get, and there's nothing you can do but look back at her with tears and go in. But a lot of the times, the reason why the mother is sitting behind the bench and the son is sitting there in handcuffs is because she never allowed him to receive consequences and repercussions for his actions before he got to the bench. Right. We see it all the time in education. When they say prison is what do they call it? School they say school is a prison, a pipeline. Well, a lot of reasons that school is a prison, a pipeline is because mothers and fathers do not want to acknowledge the behaviors or the actions of their children, and they want to keep putting it on. It's a cycle. It's the friends, it's the teacher, it's the school, it's the neighborhood, and then it's them. It's always the parent is always last when really it should be reversed. It should be the parent and then every other thing that comes behind it. And so I never want my sons to ever feel as though I am going to justify and excuse bullshit, because I'm not. I love you to life. There's nothing in the world that you can do, I don't care what it is, that'll make me not love you, but I'm also going to hold you to standards, expectations, and I'm going to let you know that if you choose to go down a path, because it won't be me, I know what I poured into you, I know what I've done for you, and I know what I'm setting you up to be, but if you should choose the path that leads you left, I'm going to sleep very well at night.
Yes, and
because I know what I've done.
Let me say that as well, that you can raise your child a million ways, and what they choose to do as an adult is completely on them.
AKA future.
Right. So we're right. So, but that's what I'm saying. It's like I don't know if I would be flaunting my son like that. That's just me. But again, I don't know. I'm not in this situation. I can always speak from the outside looking in. But again, I would love to hear what Diddy's mother's mindset is now that all of this is coming out about her son.
I feel so bad for her, and she's like 80. Out. I hate that for her. Like, he's her
still rocking her platinum blonde wig.
Yes, I love Miss Janice.
And I
thought
it was interesting.
For the rest of her life.
They're also coming for Mary J. Blige. I thought that was very interesting.
Did I?
Sister Mary Clarence ain't got shit to say.
Listen,
she is quiet. She's worried about her boots selling out. Baby.
Am I a psychic? Because did I not ask where? Listen,
and like people in the comments, like, "Yo, this is your bro. Why haven't you said anything?"
They are mad as hell, but they coming for my man. They coming for Jay. They saying, "Why you ain't said nothing about Sean either?" The other Sean. Like, we have to, in the same breath that you ask us, because I was at that concert, Mary, where you told us you was dropping them Giuseppe boots. But in the same breath that you ask us to go and support and to go and do X, Y, and Z, you have to also be a figure and say, listen, I don't agree with, I don't condone, and you can also offer support. Because here's what I don't like, and this is true too, about two things can be simultaneously true. You can be dead wrong, but we also have to watch how we do cancel culture. Now, I'm not saying that Diddy don't deserve to be canceled. I'm not going to say that. But we have to be careful how we do attack the people who not only condemn what he says, but offer support and grace. People were coming down on Kelly Price because he was a friend of mine, right? Now, Kelly always, I don't like Kelly. I don't like Kelly from R&B Diva.
Yeah, she could have kept that BS she was talking.
But I understood what she was saying, though, Jazz.
I did too, but she could have kept it.
Like, in the same breath, I can say you're dead wrong. You deserve your actions. But if you are sincere, are we not afforded grace?
I don't even know if Kelly Price was sincere, though. She doesn't even come off as a sincere person. To me, that just seemed like it was an opportunity for me to speak and get in the loop.
And be like, I know
and get
Diddy.
in the mix. Yeah, because like, sis, who is checking for you anymore? Nobody.
I still rock.
Don't get me wrong.
I still listen to Soul of a Woman.
Yes, I love Kelly Price, and she is iconic for her voice and what she's done. But lately, and I watched R&B Divas too, and
I hated her.
She has a very, very nasty personality.
She has a nasty spirit. So when you bring in spirituality, but then in the same breath you want to.
What I will say that I'm very shocked at about Mary J. Blige, and I'm sure she's torn in a sense, is this. She's very close to Misa. So you're not going to tell me you didn't know about the abuse. I don't believe that, because you all have had sister powwows from what you all have said publicly. That's number one. Number two, you were abused.
I was thinking that you're a domestic violence survivor. How dare you not speak out when you saw this video? Now, it'd be one thing, like Sha said, you didn't see the video, but like you said, you knew you know Puff, which was why when I said, where are the character witnesses? Why didn't you go to bat and say, well, no, that's my brother?
Because we like to turn a blind eye in our community when it's somebody we know personally or there's money and
like when Little Mo did that for Fabulous. That should still rub me the wrong way to this day. But you one of the first people underneath there talking about Diddy, he dead wrong. No, baby, and he was dead wrong for knocking Emily B. Teeth out, and yet here you were defending him. Don't pick and choose because now you see a video and you're like, oh, that's so wrong. When you know wrong is being done, wrong is wrong, and we have to get to a point in society.
Yes.
Forget culture, black culture, society, where you have to be able to stand on the side of right. Dr. Martin Luther King said injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. So you have to understand that right is right and wrong is wrong, and it doesn't matter who commits them.
And the last thing I'll say before we wrap up is I'm always perplexed that when Nipsey Hussle died, everybody was so prolific and everybody was trying to elevate, and we were reading books and we were going to this higher vibrational place, and we've gone away from that. A lot of us have gone away. Like that was like mainstream for a minute, right? It was like, oh my God.
That was good for all the 3 months.
Right. And we've gone completely away from that when it was like, he really was on to something there. Like, if you really listened and you followed him even before his time of death, he talked about not entertaining the clowns. And when you stop entertaining the clowns, the circus dies. And you know how you can't even bring certain things to him because he's not entertaining it. Like, we got to get back to that place. And again, holding people accountable and knowing when to speak up, when to be quiet. Like, a lot of us have to learn that. And I just feel like, how do we go from that to this? Right? How do we go from, and I guess people are people, but we went from this whole, because we going to do this and Black Power. And, you know, I was proud for a good little bit. Like, you know, we going somewhere, you know what I'm saying? And then it just all dwindled. So now people are making jokes about the hotel incident on social media and running down the hall, holding towels. Like, there's never anything funny about what we witnessed that day. Nothing. And she had to relive that. And again, you have so many people coming out now. I hope everybody finds some type of peace, because this can be daunting on anybody to have to relive the abuse and what you've gone through. And this was years of abuse. We're not talking about once or twice. He's abused a lot of people numerous times, whether it was mental, physical, right. And so I hope a lot of people can heal. And I hate to just keep throwing around that word healing, but it's a real thing.
And it's needed. Don't listen. Don't.
And if you're angry, speak on that, right? Because a lot of times we think healing is not about addressing all parts of it. When you really have truly healed, you've addressed every part of that situation, the trauma and what's happened. And I just, again, to anybody that's been in a domestic violence situation, I have never been in one myself, maybe verbal abuse, but not physical. I really, really, really hope that you, number one, find an out and realize, we like to talk about red flags. I think with there's an amazing advocate for domestic violence who talks about pink flags. Mm-hmm. And these are the flags that you see before the red flags.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
the color behind y'all.
And the pink flags, right? And things that you see. So again, to anybody watching, if you are suffering from domestic violence, you think you're in a domestic violence situation, please reach out to local. There are tons of local groups. There are Facebook groups that you can join. There are a lot of different ways that you can get away from your abuser safely, because we want you to be safe with it. So definitely reach out. If you know somebody going through a domestic violence situation, it is a serious matter. You know, Alexa Q, Eve, Love is Blind, because that shit is real. And we've really watched that play out in front of our eyes in the last couple of months with what's happening here. So Stockholm Syndrome is real. People will stay thinking it's love. Nobody that loves you is going to physically harm you. So again, if you need help, please reach out.
I almost wish JC was here, because JC the light, because he would be like,
but what did she do?
Right? No, he'd be like Ike Turner. And ironically, what do Ike Turner and Diddy have in common? They're both Scorpios.
Yeah.
But I would just say this. I think that we need to definitely get to a place where we start to have morals over money.
Yes.
When we allow ourselves to be held to a standard where we're not just valuing a dollar, but valuing your life, valuing someone else's life, you will move differently. You will move with integrity. I think it is time that we begin to not only hold each other accountable, but to make sure that we are providing spaces where people can go and receive not only the healing that they need, but to go get the help that they need. Like, when I look at Diddy, this is a man who needs help. The rehabilitation that he talks about, I truly hope that he seeks it out, because not just for this Cassie, but just so that he can be a better human being, because there is something there that is driving this man to be this demonic.
Yes.
To be able to hurt people in the manner that he has done. I read somewhere where it was like he has a kink or a fetish for basically villainizing or hurting people. And usually that stems from something that is deeper rooted that you can't talk about. Right. So I hope that he goes and gets help. But beyond him, My prayer is for Cassie. I want to say how brave you are. Thank you for being the person who kind of has to be withstanding the storm, but is going to be able to nourish all the people with the rain that you had to go through. I'm sorry that you had to experience and endure that, but you overcame. And I pray that you are able to not only heal, but thrive from the situation. Kudos to your husband for loving you through this. Shout out to those men who are loving broken women, who are coming from situations that they can't even speak of, and you got to love them through it. Shout out to y'all. And love is truly the answer. And I think when we lead with love, things will begin to improve in our society. Lead with love.
That was great words from you two ladies. There's nothing funny about this situation.
It's not. No. You just a clown.
Yes,
because we dead ass watched Ike and Tina all over again. And but of our generation, that shit is crazy.
And you know what? You just hit on something too.
But I'm good.
Right? Because it's black people. One thing we gonna do is make a jokey joke.
We gotta lighten this shit to fuck up.
No, one thing we gonna do is make a jokey joke.
Yeah.
But the same way how people can verbatim say lines from What's Love Got to Do with It in a laughing manner, we laugh now and cry later. We gotta learn how.
Just like, all right, these movies, they depict real life in certain instances, just like New Jack City, when the nigga was pouring the wine on the girl and all that shit that we idolize in hip hop, and we seen Rockefeller and all those people do shit like that. But, we're not going to go too much deeper into that. It's already an hour and 25 minutes in.
Oh, God. It was, listen, this was a lot.
Right.
I think we could have a part 2 and we still wouldn't be able to scratch the surface. Right. And I can't wait for our male co-hosts to get their take. Because I already know.
So I'm
they're finna have a day. But can I ask you a question before you go?
Okay.
Because, you always on the receiving end.
Pause.
No Diddy.
All right, no Diddy.
No Diddy.
No Diddy.
Slip and slide.
We just talked about jokes. Pick me.
Yeah.
As a certified girl dad. You ain't got no sons.
None. Not a one.
You got grandson.
I got a grandson.
You got your boy.
Big C.
Yeah. Not the little one. He's so cute. But how did you feel watching this video, and what are your thoughts?
When I first seen it, it was like, this nigga's crazy, right? But then I watched it again, was it today? I'm like, yo, this nigga is a monster. It was like very scary. I couldn't see no man doing that type of shit to my kid. Like, it's really crazy. And to know that she didn't warrant that type of, no woman really warrants it, but if she didn't warrant that type of behavior from that man, help is available. National Domestic Hotline is 1-800-799-7233. Again, it's 1-800-799-7233. If you feel like you're in a hostile domestic violence situation, if 911 isn't in your plans to contact them because you're scared of the repercussions, there's other people you can contact. You can text them BEGIN to 88788. Again, call 1-800-799-7233. It's the National Domestic Violence Hotline. They speak English, Spanish, and 200 plus other languages through interpretation services. And you can check them out at www.thehotline.org. All right, and make sure y'all follow Conversations on Film. On Instagram, you can follow
Jada G on IG, The Jada G Show.
And Pick Me Lady Jazz on IG.
Yes, and make sure you like, subscribe to youtube.com/Conversations on Film. And make sure you follow me, Shatek the producer, on Conversations. No, not on Conversations. On Instagram. Yeah, all that shit.
You don't even know who you is.
Yeah, I don't even know what it is.
You don't even know who he is, y'all.
We've been through a lot. You know what I'm saying? Today, we seeing our once beloved stars being fucking assholes and doing wrong shit. That was a very horrible thing that you did, Diddy. And they should take everything back that you took.
I agree.
She deserved all her money plus tax.
Right. And hopefully she used some of that money that she receives to maybe possibly do what Homeboy said Diddy should do.
Yeah.
For,
Yeah.
hopefully. But, all right.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.